Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Devin and today I'll be giving you guys my month 7 pregnancy update. So I just finished up my 7th month. I am actually 33 weeks and a day. So technically I'm filming this just a little bit late because I believe month 7 is weeks 28 through 31. So that is behind me. I'm currently in my 8th month of pregnancy, which is insane because we're getting close to the end. If you guys are new here, I've been filming monthly updates on my channel, just letting you know everything that is going on with changes to my body and symptoms and updates and all that good stuff. I love watching these videos myself, and I also thought it'd be fun just to document my journey of baby number 1 for me and my husband. And yeah, I've been loving filming these and watching these back and just seeing how everything progresses. I even show you like my bump at the end of every video, and it's been really cool to see how that's growing. So yeah, also I'm a little out of breath. That's one of the symptoms for sure as I continue towards the end of this pregnancy. But anyways, I'm so excited that you guys are here today to watch this video. If you're new to these types of videos, I just always like to preface these with that I'm very grateful to be pregnant. I know it is a gift from God and a blessing, and I'm so excited for my future baby. But I also want to be real with you guys. Sometimes pregnancy is not so fun. There's some not so fun symptoms and changes and things, and yeah, I just want to give you guys the real and the raw. So if you're going through this too, you're not feeling alone, or if you're going to be trying to expect, or you're just curious, then you can have a little bit more of a realistic idea of what to expect. So yeah, I'm not necessarily trying to complain, just trying to be honest with you guys about everything that's going on. But if you haven't done so already, make sure to click that red subscribe button. That way you don't miss any of my future videos. I definitely plan on finishing this out the rest of my pregnancy and definitely filming like a birth vlog and all that kind of stuff and all the little baby updates after that. So definitely make sure to subscribe if you're into that content. And you can also follow me on Instagram. It's just Life by Devin, and you can see a little bit more of my day-to-day. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the month 7 pregnancy overview. So we're going to start with week 28. So I do want to mention that I had a sonogram. I think it was like when I was like 28 weeks and 2 days, and whoa, that sonogram. So first off, it had been like a couple months since we had seen the baby, and so we were very, very excited to see him. And if you don't know, it is a boy that we are expecting. And so my husband and I were in there, and essentially they told us that my baby was measuring 3 weeks ahead. So that was definitely a big shock to me. I know that he was measuring like a little bit ahead on the previous one, but not 3 weeks ahead, not at all. So yeah, we were definitely just shocked, and I was like, what on earth does that mean? Now, of course, in those sonograms, it's just an estimate. They're basically just measuring like their head and their belly and things. And so I guess based off of those 2 measurements, they said that he was measuring 3 weeks ahead. So essentially she just said, oh, looks like you got a big baby in there. So yeah, that was definitely something that started the month 7 off like, oh wow, what does this mean? Does this mean like, you know, I'm going to have a C-section or an induction, or that I'm going to tear really bad, or I mean, the anxiety went through the roof. But I did pass my gestational diabetes screening, and so that was all good. And so they just said sometimes you have big babies and they'll just keep monitoring it and whatnot. So it was whatever. Baby was really healthy, and that's what matters, and everything looked good with me. And so yeah, I just want to mention that the beginning of my month was a bit of a surprise, knowing that maybe this baby either A was coming soon, or B was just going to be big. So yeah, big baby on the way. Also in week 28, I was experiencing diarrhea. So gross. And yeah, TMI disclaimer for this whole video. I'm going to go into detail if you've not watched one of my videos before. So sorry, not sorry. But yes, diarrhea, it's a thing. And I got a little nervous because it lasted like, I felt like a couple days, and I was like, oh my gosh, do I need to call the doctor? But when I looked it up, I mean, your hormones are changing so much throughout your pregnancy. The levels can change. The way that you just digest certain foods can change throughout the pregnancy, and so it seemed to be a normal occurrence. It wasn't anything that, you know, I was still able to keep fluids down and things like that, but yeah, that was not so fun because my tummy was just a little bit upset, and I was having diarrhea, and nobody likes to have diarrhea. So yeah, it was back to normal after a couple days, but yeah, not so fun for sure. Now the rest of week 28 and going to week 29, I was experiencing a lot of similar things that I was experiencing from the previous month. And one of those things was just increased discomfort in my abdomen area around week 29. So I think I've mentioned this before, but every day, most days, I go on a walk with my dog on my lunch break. So normally it's like a 45-minute walk, and it's just around my neighborhood, and they obviously have gotten a little bit more uncomfortable as I continued on in my pregnancy, but I've still been able to do them. But that week I was just like, oh wow, this is getting really uncomfortable. Like I'd have to stop and just like to catch my breath, but it was more so just like the discomfort of my abdomen area just felt like it was, I don't know, like almost like my abs were separating, or just like increased pressure in that area. And I don't necessarily think it's like a contraction or anything. Like it felt crampy, but just, yeah, it was very weird. I mentioned it before when I go on my walks, but that was definitely something that they were starting to get pretty hard in that week. And then I have a bunch of stuff for like week 30 and 31. I'll say nesting. I think I mentioned this before, but I've just been nesting like crazy. Just going around trying to get my house clean, getting some projects done, like little things like we had doorknobs we wanted to replace. So I went to Home Depot, I got doorknobs, I got so many things to like, and I replaced them all by myself, and my husband was out of town for a few days. I was like checking so many things off the list, getting rid of stuff, and just, yeah, I feel like I've been running around like nuts trying to get my house in order. So nesting has definitely still been picking up as I continue on with pregnancy. My heartburn and acid reflux has still been crazy. Like the acid reflux especially has just gotten worse and worse. So that's not very fun. I feel like I've had to have more Tums. Not that I like love to take Tums, but like I need them a lot at night because, yeah, the acid reflux, I just wake up in the middle of the night just like coughing up like bile. It's disgusting. It's my least favorite pregnancy symptom, I feel like, is the acid reflux, because it just like keeps you up from, like, you just like feel it like coming when you lay down, and you have to like prop yourself up. It disturbs your sleep, but you're already getting disturbed sleep already. And so, yeah, the heartburn and acid reflux has just been a freaking bummer. They say if you have a ton of heartburn, the old wives' tale or midwife's tale, or whatever you call it, says that your baby's going to have a lot of hair. So I know me and my husband, both as babies, had a ton of hair when we were born. So maybe that's going to be our son as well. In week 30, I did experience a little bit more diarrhea. So I thought I was done with it, but it came back for a little bit, which was lovely. I also started to realize that my hunger slowed down a little bit, but I think it was because of my upset stomach and diarrhea. Like I didn't want to eat. I was skipping meals just because I just didn't feel good. And so I think it was just those days that I was experiencing that like indigestion feeling and whatnot. And normally I'm like eating all the time. But that week I was just like, no, like forcing myself to eat, which has not been like myself. I experienced a tiny bit of nausea, but again, I think that was just with the indigestion that was going on. And yeah, the biggest thing is I started to get very emotional and having some breakdowns. So I would say towards the end of my 7th month, this is the biggest change I've experienced is my hormones. So I've definitely been like hormonal right throughout pregnancy. They're going a little wacky, but I've been like, yeah, it's been a whole other level. So I have definitely been getting like increased anxiety, been like having emotional breakdowns. There has been a lot of stressors added to my life that I won't really get into because it's just some personal things. Me and my husband are totally fine and everything, but we've just been having some, things happening in our life that has, been a lot. And so I guess with that, plus my pregnancy hormones, it's just been a lot for me. And so I have been like definitely reacting in not so good ways, just like really like crying to my husband, just overwhelmed, not knowing what to do, just very like extra needy for my husband. yeah, I just think that the emotions have definitely gone high and have continued to increase. Like those last, like week 30 and 31, it got like really bad at the end of 31 for sure, which is not so fun. Bless my husband, he's definitely been putting up with me, and I just feel like I've almost just been like extra on edge, and like things have been getting to me more than usual. And yeah, I know it's normal because yeah, your body's going through so much, and so you're just going through a lot internally, and so you're going to process things a little bit differently externally as well. And so it's not an excuse. I still want to be like, you know, able to manage my anxiety and changes in my life, and be great to my husband and whatnot, but he's given me a lot of grace with all of it, and I'm very appreciative. But it's been a little hard getting, it makes me feel like I'm going a little crazy in a sense, and I know that's not the case. I know it's just normal, but it's been a roller coaster over here, folks. It's been a roller coaster. Towards the end of week 30 and then going into 31 too, I just feel like he has been kicking me like crazy, like intense, like definitely more intense kicks, like karate chopping, punching, beatboxing, like break dancing, all the things in my belly, which is crazy to watch. Like my husband just looks up and like, dang, he needs to calm down. Like he is just having a blast in there. And I knew that baby's moved and kicked, but I did not realize this much. Obviously I haven't been around like a lot of pregnant women or anything to know this, but in case you guys are wondering, like the little kicks that everybody talks about, they're not so little as you get towards the end. They're a little intense, and I'm like, oh, like I make noises sometimes, and I'm like wincing a little bit because they're like, I mean, he's strong. I mean, apparently he's measuring a little, 3 weeks ahead, so there is that, but he is not holding back, I feel like, when it comes to his movement. And obviously I'm very grateful for that. The fact that I am able to feel his movements is wonderful, and the fact that he's moving is a great sign of health. But also it's like, can you spread it out just a little bit, because mama is getting a little tired. I already feel like I'm stuffed like a turkey, and so when I'm really stuffed and then things are pounding around in there, it just doesn't feel the best. So starting to get a little bit more uncomfortable for sure. The biggest thing that happened is week 31, 31 weeks and 2 days. This is like really, really big, and I think I'm okay with talking about this now because I'm now 33 weeks in a day, and so I've had some time to process it, and I think I'm okay. But I woke up that morning and a few hours into my day after I went to the restroom, I wiped and felt like a lot of something when I wiped. And so I looked, because I was like, why is it, I feel like I'm having to wipe a lot. Normally when you pee, you just wipe and you're good. But I was like, there's a lot of like moisture or something there. And so I looked, and there was no blood, which is great, but there was a lot of, cervical mucus that was thicker in consistency and more, like there was, the quantity was more than I've seen before. And I immediately got concerned because we have been taking like some classes through our hospital virtually to prepare for baby, and they had talked about a mucus plug before, and I had seen photos of what it looks like on tissue, and it looked very similar to one of the photos that I remember. And I just got immediately nervous because I did not, like, I wiped and I was like, I haven't seen this before. It wasn't just like normal. I know that you can get increased cervical mucus throughout pregnancy, but just like the consistency and the amount and the color just was something that I immediately was like, oh no. So what I did, so gross, but I took a photo because I knew that I was going to want to call my doctor to ask about it. I Googled it too, some photos of mucus plugs, and there was definitely photos that looked just like what I had just found. And it was hard. It was very, very hard. I was immediately nervous because they say that when you lose your mucus plug, that could mean, it's not guaranteed, but it could mean that labor is either a few days away or a few weeks away. And at the time, remember, I was only 31 weeks and 2 days. Due date is 40 weeks. Full term, technically 37 weeks. So definitely that would be, if it was, even if we're going all the way to the max 3 weeks away, that would have put me in preterm labor. So I was very scared. I called my OB. I sent her a photo and they said, yeah, it does. I mean, there's no way for us to for sure know, but it does look like it's your mucus plug. And this, of course, happened like on Friday. And so I had not experienced any cramping, no other type of fluid, like that would have been like amniotic fluid or anything like that. But it definitely was something that they called me back and told me, yeah, it looks like your mucus plug. It was just scary. I immediately thought the worst, like, oh my gosh, this baby's coming soon. I'm not ready. Is the baby going to be healthy? Like, I don't want anything to go wrong with him. And I just immediately broke down and really only told a handful of people close to me because I didn't want to worry anybody. I am on a Facebook group of women who are pregnant and due around the same time as me. And I posted on there, and it seems like this has happened to some other people and they didn't go into preterm labor. And so that definitely gave me a lot of hope. My OB says it's not a guarantee. It is definitely still a possibility. And I'd already had an appointment scheduled for the following week anyways. And so they said if anything happens, like cramping or pain or bleeding, call us. If not, we'll see you on Tuesday for your appointment. So it's been a little bit since that happened, and I'm a little bit more at peace with it. I prepared a little bit. I immediately, I think that next day, packed my hospital bag just in case, and just got things organized in the nursery. And yeah, it was okay. So the OB essentially just told me over the phone, for now, pelvic rest, but other than that, just to take it easy and keep an eye out on things. And so that's what I'm doing. Obviously, that was a huge thing that affected me. And so remember I was telling you my emotions were high and a lot was going on hormonally. Yeah, that didn't help. I was basically a mess that week too. And so just a lot of ups and downs. And I've just been realizing that I need to be more trusting in God through this process. And I can't control my pregnancy, and I can't control my baby, and I can't control all these outcomes. So I just need to have faith that God's going to protect my baby and me and be with me and my husband as we go through this, and it's going to be fine. And 31 weeks is also when I started to experience fatigue again. So this is where it crept in and has been increasing more. So I'm not going to get into my beginning of month 8, since I told you guys I'm filming this a little late, like a week and a day late. But yeah, it's the fatigue has come back, and my energy has slowed down. That pep in my step has definitely gone away, and it's a little bit more of a drag to get things done. And so yeah, I'm having to just make sure that I am being smart about where I spend my energy, because I'm not having a lot of it nowadays, and it's sort of continuing to decrease. So fatigue, I did not miss it. I did not. I hate the feeling of wanting to get stuff done, but physically not being able to, no, I need to lay in bed. I need rest. I need to get off of my feet. So yeah, that is everything from my 7th month of pregnancy. It definitely, in my opinion, flew by. I felt like it was poof, gone. I'm already in month 8. And I can't believe that we're already getting so close. Before I forget, let's go ahead and do a little bump date. Alright guys, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate you sticking to the end. Don't forget to subscribe and follow me on Instagram. I greatly appreciate it. And other than that, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.